Hey, so I was at Toronto Film. Ugh, sorry, I'm sick. Hey, so I was at Toronto International Film Festival, and between shows, I decided to schedule some interviews. The whole trip was pretty touch and go, so I was writing interview questions on my phone, and the equipment I had with me was just whatever I could fit in my backpack to bring to Toronto. We couldn't really find a place to schedule the interview in the area that didn't have a lot of background noise or people, so Kenny offered to do it at his restaurant, the Dog and Bear Pub, as it was opening. There are a couple audio issues that you might notice, so next time I'm probably just gonna bring some lav mics. Anyway, enough with the excuses, just enjoy the interview. Thanks. Looking good.
Thank you, I'm fat as shit.
We're here at the Dog and Bear Pub on Queen Street in Toronto. I'm here with Kenny Hotz from Kenny vs. Spenny and a few other things. Why don't you introduce yourself? I know I've covered your content on my channel before.
Yeah. Well, I'm Kenny Hotz. Google it, bruh.
Yeah. Wikipedia that shit. That's what I did for all these questions. Apparently you were a writer on South Park.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Trey is the only person who actually writes every episode.
Mm-hmm.
So he has only writing credit. I sat there for a few months until I got fired. Mostly what I did was raise my hand. Matt wanted health food and Trey wanted Kentucky Fried Chicken. So I would have to... nobody really writes that show, except, like at all, except for Trey. Matt, I guess second.
So you were just like consultant?
Yeah, they just want to hang out with their friends, and I actually hated it.
Oh yeah.
It sucked for me because I was like a bumblebee in a jar. You know, second I got there, I was like, oh my god, my friends can have this, like this entire fucking building, studio, and I just that's kind of what I wanted.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not really good at doing anyone else's stuff. You know, it's pretty biblical to work on South Park, and I got the odd little joke in. But I wanted like season 9 to be like, this is the year that Kenny Hotz came in and fucking South Park pop. It didn't work like that. They, you know, every suggestion I had, like, made them work more, and they just wanted to get the shows out. You know?
Oh, okay.
Not that I probably had shitty suggestions, I don't know, but I did do it, and it's pretty fucking crazy, like to be in that room with those boys.
Oh yeah. To be a fly on the wall in that scenario would just be a pretty valuable experience, I'd imagine. So with us being at this Dog and Bear bar, this is a or pub, this is a place that you own. How did you get into that?
I had some friends, and they had the coolest restaurant in the city, and you know, I had some extra cash. I said, I want to be, you know, how do I join? Then we opened a club called the Hoxton, which was honestly the hottest club in Canada. It was fucking crazy, like full chaos. Yeah,
I heard that there was like a show with Kanye there.
Kanye and Drake, Skrillex, and you know, pals of Deadmau5 and all these guys. I know Diplo and all these guys from that. But that was fun. I was like, you know, check it off the list.
So I've been I'm here for TIFF, Toronto Film Festival, and that's why I'm in town. Have you ever been involved with the festival, or have you ever checked out any shows at the festival? Like
I used to go and see as many movies as you possibly could. I think it's like 5 or 6 is the total amount. But I used to go alone and sit in fucking movies and, you know, shit in the pens and do, you know, I was a filmo and you know, I was a film maniac. I haven't actually been to a movie in a movie theater probably in close to 10 years, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even go anymore. Now I just download everything.
Yeah, I mean, convenience has influenced the market, that's for sure, with things like iTunes and Netflix. Speaking of which, is there any reason why Kenny vs. Spenny is so difficult to be able to legally purchase?
Well, I think we're like the faces of death of you know, comedy shows. That's kind of what kind of maintains our cult-like status, because we're still surprisingly popular, which is weird. We haven't been on TV since 2010. The fact that we're hard to get kind of makes it unique and subversive. But you tell me, listen, we have 500 million views on YouTube, over 5,000 channels. They've been systematically trying to shut it down for years, and people are reversing them and, you know, punching in and all this stuff, and they still can't get rid of the show.
Yeah, the so you've uploaded all the episodes onto your...
I did, because I was so sick of, you know, my producers not taking them down and everybody watching them everywhere else. But I had about something like 260 million views just on my channel. I actually only own the U.S. rights. Our producers, Entertainment One, own the rest of the world. So once they locked out my rest of the world, I lost like 200 million views. So now I'm at about 60. But 1 year, 260 million views on the show. Oh, probably about 500 million. Probably one of the most anticipated comedy shows that people would ever want to see in this country. And I don't know, that's the business, but I'm not complaining. We got really lucky. I would do 1,000 more shows. I think the older and fatter and uglier we get, the more pathetic it is and the funnier it is. That's why I never wore, I don't think I talked about it, but I never wore makeup on the show. And Spenny would always complain, like, you look like a fucking panda with AIDS. Like, I said, yeah, because everyone's wearing makeup on TV, and when people change the channel, I want them to see, like, somebody fucking real.
Genuine.
Like, and I think it was the first time, somebody really didn't give a shit. And I thought that cool migrates to the audience, and I just wanted to be real. I was just done with all of this fucking bullshit.
Yeah, and it really does show. There's several episodes on the show where I'm like, it looks like you haven't slept in weeks.
Yeah, and that's true, because we're working every day. The other thing is, which I don't think I ever said, is that, it was kind of like when 9/11 happened, and I think 9/11 killed sitcoms. People just couldn't deal with fake plastic corporate bullshit after 9/11 because it was so real and so fucking heavy. And so I kind of was like, okay, you know what, fuck this. This is going to be like the most realist, dogma, cinema verite. Like, we never used a light or anything in Kenny versus Spenny. And I just wanted to be super real, and that's why we exposed ourselves. We were, aired our dirty laundry, made men look like shit, all unintentionally. But I think that's why women like the show, and most of our audience are female, which is crazy. Like,
really?
We never thought women would like the show. And
where do you get those metrics? Most of your audience?
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
Well, that's full from our broadcasters and stuff, walking down the street. But
we
have a huge, and by the people that are showing up on tour. But
that's true.
Women love the show. I have my own reasons for it, but you'd have to ask them.
With online media and distribution, like iTunes and Netflix, like, I understand that there's a cult element to Kenny versus Spenny, and those DVDs are very rare at this point and very expensive if you want to buy them secondhand because they're out of print. Is there anything stopping you or your producers from getting the show on Netflix? Would it just be up to Netflix at that point?
They don't want it.
They definitely don't want it?
Previous executives at Netflix don't want it.
Yeah, they've made that clear, I guess.
They've been pitched it, and that could change.
Yeah,
that could change at any time.
Yeah, I feel like it would be the perfect show for
but
Netflix.
The show
honestly,
is so crass and abrasive and rude and horrible.
That,
You know what I mean? We are the antithesis of PC, even though we do like Who the Gay Guys Like More, and we both try to have sex with a gay guy, which I always felt embarrassed our homophobic audience. Like, we're not, we do Who the Black Guys Like More, and we're not racist. I hire a Down syndrome kid to pretend he molested Spenny. I don't call the kid a retard. We become best friends. You know what I mean? So it was never exploitive, and it was highly moralistic. So, but I think to most people who don't really know the show, they just think we're Jackass or Tom Green. And we're the furthest thing from Unrelated Vignettes. We're, to me, the first reality sitcom and totally narrative-based, series. That exposed, moral truth about shitty humanity and exposed the male ego and we're a microcosm of just, how horrible our generation is. Yeah. So. Yeah, I've always felt... It was complex, I thought. Yeah. I think the more episodes you watched, the more you understood, how special the series was. You watch the first couple of episodes, oh, Kenny's a cheater and he's so shitty. You watch the third episode, you want Spenny crushed. You know what I mean? Because he's such a moralistic, dark fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean? The reality is, I'm even though I cheated and I was a scumbag that totally abused and destroyed my friend, I was actually the good guy in the end. Because to me, Kenny versus Spenny is happy versus unhappy. That's it. That's what the show is. You know, I don't care versus I care. And the fact that he cared about these, like, who could stand up the longest, to me was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's really about not being humiliated. You know what I mean? And I tried to Pavlov Spenny. I tried to, you know, make him a better person throughout the series, but he just became darker and angrier. And the other thing is, most series where the creators and the talent hate each other, the shows get shittier. But in our case, it actually made the show better.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
the more I disliked him, the more I destroyed him. And the fact, it's really, you guys are the sick fucks. It's the gladiator ring. That's why the whole series opens with a shot of the gladiator ring. That's in the opening titles. That's how it starts.
Yeah.
I initially did it because I looked like Tony Curtis in Spartacus. So that's, it's all scenes from my favorite movies. But, you know, you guys are the sick fucks that wanted us. That I literally had to destroy my best friend's life and our friendship just to jerk you fucking freaks off. And that's the real sad, you know, template of Kenny versus Spenny.
Yeah, I've always felt as though the character dynamic is part of what makes the show work so well.
Yeah, and people are, you guys actors? It's like, no, we did 50 other Kenny versus Spenny's all over the world. We sold formats. We're the largest selling probably comedy format ever, or at least in Canada. And nobody could do what we did.
Yeah.
You know, because first of all, nobody knew each other since they were 6 years old, and nobody just had the balls to go for it.
Yeah.
You know?
It was very ambitious, not especially in terms of pushing boundaries for what you can and can't show on television. And I always appreciate a show that does that, especially one that does it well and can do it in a very funny way.
But that's the catch-22. That's what got the show canceled. That I knew we had a bunch of, you know, soccer moms that that were letting us do whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
Which was so crazy that, you know, trannies are sucking them off. I mean, goats are raping them. Like, bestiality, you know, like child. Like, it was really so fucking. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I feel like, you know, Tom Green kind of had that opportunity too, because he was just so incredible, and his stuff was so absurd and weird and confronting, and so he did everything he could, and in the end, that's probably what won't put us back on television. The fact we're doing Who Can Poop in Their Pants. But that was kind of emulating Knoxville and those guys in an outhouse, turning it upside down. And the market was so oversaturated at that time with, like, Tom Green, Jackass, Family Guy, South Park, that if we didn't do shit that was totally fucking insane, you die.
Yeah. Raise the bar.
And I, you know, subconsciously I wanted the show to get canceled because it was so much fucking work. It was so staying awake for a week every morning, Sebi in my fucking face with a camera for years. But, you know, that's just what happens when you're working constantly. And like I said, I would do 100, 500 more shows now. I've got shows like written like Who Could Knit a Sweater, which I think two idiots that don't knit, like, that could be one of the funniest shows ever. Who can smoke more meth? You know, like, we would actually do that. But who's going to let us do that?
Well, I mean, if we're at a day and age at this point where crowdfunding sites like Patreon,
I've had shows on TV in the States. Like, you know, I'm going to go, hey, please give us money for Kenny versus Spenny, because the reality is our audience are broke and they don't really pay for shit. My friend Jamie tried to do a doc on us. He was asking for like a measly 30 G's or something. Didn't get anything from our audience that'll pay anything to see us. You know? But then I can sell a t-shirt online. I got 10 G's. Like, you never know.
Yeah.
If somebody else wanted to do everything, come on board, and you know, we could get money to do the series fine, but basically when the series ended, we were probably at about 400,000 an episode. This shit costs money.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, that's a lot of chabdush.
A lot of people to hire. What is your favorite episode of the show?
It's been so long now. Honestly, I was so proud that none of the episodes sucked. There were a couple that I really disliked. But my favorite are like Fart, Meat, Naked,
Yeah, the Fart
Baby.
one's good.
I think Fart's the best episode ever.
Yeah.
Baby was the greatest of the first season. But there's so many intermittent gold, you know. But like I said, it's hard for me to watch now. Like, I do love the show, and it's crazy that we did it. And I would love to go back to see what it evolved into.
Yeah.
Because I've been talking with Brian Pico, who worked on the show, now a producer, and we're talking about how the show should kind of, if it came back, it should kind of, you know, regress back to season 1, where it's just so like raw and simple, and you know, so which I kind of like that idea. Yeah, because shit got crazy, but the more money we got, the more, you know, toys I had.
That's true.
You know, but who knows?
Do you watch any kind of online content on YouTube, or do you just?
I do. That's all I do is watch. Yeah, I'm just constantly like going through news channels and factual information, Live Leak, all these crazy websites. Yeah, I'm like on. That's basically what I do every day, is just surf online and watch like the most crazy, weirdest shit, mixed with, you know, corporate media and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm a news junkie, a visceral news junkie. I like watching crazy, and I try to dig. Like I really, you know, I was doing a lot. I don't really do social media anymore, but the stuff I've kind of done historically were really kind of weird, you know, memes that, you know, like if you look at my Instagram or Twitter and stuff like that, it's pretty weird, but contemporary and you know, makes sense you know, based on trends, stuff like that.
So a lot of Live Leak and stuff like that. Do you watch any content creators out there? Do you have any specific personalities or anything?
I really don't like the personality-driven stuff on YouTube. I find it so annoying, most of those guys.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
and some have contacted me because they're fans, but that whole, like, you know, the whole genre of YouTube personalities, to me, I'm too old for it, and they're so fucking annoying. I really can't stand it.
I know exactly what you mean.
They're smug. There's no angst. They're all egomaniacal narcissists.
That's what I would say about that is that if what YouTube promotes for people is generally that kind of content, if you dig a little further, you do find some genuine people out there. Yeah,
I love genuine, cool, smart stuff, and I love car crashes and cringe and crazies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
What do you feel is the most unappreciated job on a film set? I know that your show isn't exactly a traditional kind of film set, but you have been involved in a few different projects, and I'm wondering if there's anything that you feel somebody does that never really gets the recognition it deserves.
Editors are truly some of the most important. Probably it's like 50% everybody and 50% editors.
Yeah.
Editors are so important. They really make your stuff fucking sing. And also camera guys. Camera guys are actually the real directors of content. Very few directors do stuff that a DOP couldn't do himself. But there are still like insane, incredible directors who are fucking gods, and I worship. But aside from that, you know, I mostly work in documentaries, so you know,
bit of a different format.
To me, it's the scariest, hardest thing to do. Getting dropped, you know, in a location and trying to create gold out of nothing. You know, like the fucking Rumpelstiltskin. It's brutal. So that it scares the hell out of me. Anytime I get I just did a couple of Viceland things, but anytime I get a gig and it's doc, I'm like, oh, it keeps me up at night.
Yeah, I could imagine. I feel like there's a lot of documentary content out there that's very clearly stretched to fit a time goal.
But I'm glad docs are back, you know. Yeah. Like I've been watching a lot of crime docs. I've been seeing, you know, I'm a film guy, but the stuff I'm watching now that is really incredible is fucking mind blowing. Like,
Do you have any examples?
Dear Zachary, I thought was
man,
out of control.
Yeah,
One of my
I've recommended
favorites.
that one. You will cry, by the way.
Mommy
Depressing
Dearest.
movie.
What, Dead Mommy Dearest?
I don't know what that one is.
Oh, it's fucking horrible. Like, horribly amazing. Marjo, you know, it just, there's thousands of amazing docs, you know.
Are there any television shows that you've been keeping up with recently?
You know, basically all I watch is like the first 48 and, you know, news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't really do fiction anymore. Like there's some good shows on like HBO or Netflix that I like, but very rare now. It's hard for me to find. I mean, it's so like everybody's telling me all these shows are good and I watch. I'm like, you know, I've seen so much stuff. I'm so kind of. I have insane ADD too, so just to sit there and watch anything is really tough for me. You know, that's why I like fast-paced, independent YouTube content or weird site content, that type of thing.
And I guess just last couple questions here. Do you have any advice for young filmmakers, whether it be Canadian or otherwise, getting their first project off the ground? What kind of pushed you to pitch your show, and how did that process go? What advice could you give?
I'll revert back to what Werner Herzog said.
Yeah.
Do anything you need to do to make your movie. Lie, cheat, steal your cameras, whatever the fuck you need to do. You know, if you kill somebody or rob a bank, that's your problem, but that's kind of the advice I took. There's two types of people, the people that make movies and the people that don't. So that's it. Everybody, you know, I lived in LA for a decade, so everybody talks, and you know, you make a movie or you don't make a movie. Figure it out. That's just the way people have been making movies for 100 years.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, you can shoot a movie on an iPhone.
Yep.
And win Sundance, and you really can.
Yeah.
So use your fucking iPhone. You know, GoPro's $50, a used one's $30. Like, go make a GoPro movie.
Yeah.
There's incredible fucking movies that, you know, but it's tough. The problem is that you have to make like so much content before you become great.
Yeah.
Some people are lucky and they can be great right off the bat. It's a learning process, and the more you do it, the better you get. So you better fucking start.
Yeah. I think people's fear of failure kind of stops them from taking that initial plunge.
Well, then they end, and then they don't live their dreams, and it's fuck. But you know, it's a crapshoot. You know, I have friends who are fucking geniuses who are living in basements, broke. Yeah. Way better than me, like true, like incredible directors and actors. And they did everything they were supposed to do. Went to LA and lived there for years, and they got nothing. So. Luck, persistence. It is a business, you know. But I never had YouTube. YouTube, you could sit at home in your underwear. You could be a fucking billionaire. Yeah. There's 12-year-old girls putting on mascara, making $100K a week. You know, like, figure it out. And what are you asking me for? Like, why is anybody asking me? I'm a fucking idiot. Like, seriously. I'm probably the last person you should ask. You know, I dosed my pal with acid. And you want career advice. Yeah. No,
you're successful.
I got lucky. Yeah. But, you know, it was a lot of work. I don't think people truly realize how much work it is. Like, if you cannot fucking... Well, just watch Pitch. I made this movie Pitch. And, you know, I basically jumped on Al Pacino's back coming out of an elevator, and we still didn't make it. Yeah. You know, Pitch is our first feature, but the reality is it's so depressing. Like, what we did and still not make it. Eventually we did. But, yeah, listen, you got to make shit. Neil Simon just died. He said it in Pitch. You know, it's all in the work. It's all in the work. And the people are like, how do I make it? How do I do that? Well, you make it. You just do.
All right, and last question. Are there any new projects or ambitions or anything on the horizon?
It's hard for me. I'm on the brink of literally quitting everything. So just because I feel so blessed and I really lived my dream and I've been making such great content. So, you know, it's hard for me to make stuff because unless I have carte blanche to do whatever I want and nobody fucking cuts it to pieces or destroys it, then I'll do it. So I only get a gig once every 3 to 5 years. I've got some stuff on the go, but if anyone ever makes it, it'll be great. But and the other thing is I don't like talking about anything. Like when I get a check and it cashes, then I got something. Like everybody says they're doing this or doing that, they're in development for the. It's like, oh, I just sold a show, and oh yeah, what show? And they go, well, it's a development. Oh, well, then you didn't sell the show.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to be embarrassed by talking shit.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been so. I've been doing it for 20, 30 years. So, when I sell a show, when I got something, then I do it. And I also don't like saying anything because if I ever do something fucking incredible that comes out and it's wicked, I just like to kind of pop it out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I just did this Dead Mouse video with my friend. He basically did everything. I bamboozled the directing credit and stuff. Yeah. But, people are still like, holy shit, how'd you do that? Luckily I didn't do anything. But, but I did make Dead Mouse do stuff, which created a narrative. So it is directing Nick, even though thanks for the credit. Smear balls, brah.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, boys.
Check out the Dog and Bear Pub on Queen Street if you're in Toronto. Also, check out Kenny versus Spenny, however you can do that.
Peer to peer.
There's, either YouTube or Tortilla.
It's on my YouTube channel.
And thank you so much for this conversation. It was great.
Later,
Thank
boys.
you.